Hello, welcome back to Being in Nothingness. It's time to continue on Chloe's Island today. I have clicked onto the wrong save. I should really get that number back up to 195. Back. Oh well. That save is kinda deteriorated the moment I went in. It's okay. Anyway. So what happened last episode? We beat 2 levels, I think. Paddle Pond and 9 square feet. Oh, and Watchtower as well. That one we kind of just ran through. So yeah, Paddle Pond was the puzzle that kind of stumped me the most that episode. There's this variant over here, which I believe is 3 beans. Pedal Pond, spelled differently. I might try that, because I have some idea of perhaps what could be expected of us. So yeah, it's the exact same thing. I'm expecting, though, that the difference between here and here is that I can actually blow this up and have me be pulled to this location. It requires the vine to be all the way here and the bomb to be here. But that should be possible. So let's see how I'm going to do this. It's probably going to have to be a bomb moving back and forth here, and then a vine pulling ooh. What was the plan? How did I get these guys gone? Don't remember. It would be nice if the explosion was... I mean, the explosion can be as high up as here, I think. Because I just need to be stopped here. So really... Yeah, so really the explosion can be here, and I think I'm fine. So what I want is a ball moving back and forth, a vine here that pulls a second beam, and therefore will block the bomb. I need to be the other way around because the vine also needs to die. Okay. So now the vine will exist, the tendril will exist, and that will destroy the vine and that one block. Yep. And the exact same thing occurs, I believe. We might have some issues regarding timing, but I'll work those out eventually. The fastest or easiest way to do this is to, I believe, shoot like this actually. That's the fastest I can make it. So what will happen is you'll pull me in, the bomb will explode, and I am left out here. Yeah, so last episode I accidentally solved a different puzzle while trying to solve that one. So yeah. Great job. What that means is basically last episode I solved 4 puzzles, not 3. And I did solve a 3 bean as well. That was a good puzzle, I like it. Right, I really should have fixed stuff. There was an update that came out that added field notes. Unfortunately I haven't gotten to fixing it yet. To updating this file yet. There are also some puzzles that got fixed. I think I haven't entered any of them yet. So still... Sorry. Let me go and look at the message and see if I can figure out exactly what changed. Yeah, fixed cheeses for Crescent Pond and Return of the 7 Beans. Those are like all the way up here. Crescent Pond and Return of the 7 Beans, yeah. So, not to worry. This is all still normal stuff. No cheese anywhere until I find it. Which I won't, probably. Okay. So do we do Tempestuous Square? I feel like that's going to lead us to something interesting. So I want to do that last if I can. Yeah, let's do Twin Gates first. Tempestuous Square is obviously a reference to the other level, Stormy Rectangle. Which I believe was a 4 bean in that world. But given the difficulty in Chloe's Island, I'm expecting this Tempestuous Square to also be of somewhat similar difficulty. Alright, Twin Gates. Okay, 3 rollers, 3 buckets, 3 clouds. That button flicks that on. That button flicks that on. Twin gates, I understand. So I gotta be standing all the way here. And that happens. Okay. Not quite sure what that's about. I believe we might have to do some interesting shenanigans here. What is my goal? I need to like walk a very long way after standing here before this gets shot. I'm gonna suspect that that distance is approximately twice this length. It seems to be approximately twice this length. Maybe a bit less, a bit more I mean. The reason why I'm calculating that is kind of because I'm expecting some sort of oscillating move to block a cloud. Obviously, I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I really want, the moment I leave here, there has to be a timer. Because there's no way I can interact with anything once I'm in this area here. There has to be a timer that lasts for... I don't know, my last action will be from this position, ideally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 moves. I need to wait exactly 16 moves. I need to wait 16 moves or more before this gets pushed on. I want to say ideally by... Ooh, I have an idea. Well, not really, but I have somewhat of an idea. Not really, no. Okay, my idea is that with 3 beans, a bucket will always pick up the same color, right? It's always red. And that is true no matter what. Okay. I'm thinking of 3 beans because that is the only way I can have a cloud shoot it. And then have a bean taken off of that pile and then still have the bucket not be able to shoot into anything. The reason why I'm kind of thinking this is because, like, if I were to do that and then I had a bucket moving horizontally, for example, I think this manages to, like, transport beans in a very fascinating way. So the idea is that, of course, I don't think I'll have this red bean exist first. So 1, 2, 3. No red bean. 2, 3, there you go. So cloud exists. You try to shoot across that, nothing happens. Bean will do this. Bean will put down that red bean, of course, and then, you know, the cloud tries to do stuff, it's not gonna work. If I had this bean come across... Oh. Okay, well that's not very satisfying. Let's do this and then wait. Yeah, there you go. I don't like that. I was thinking of some way to transport it so that you go up, put a red bean down, you go across, grab that red bean and then sink it. And the idea is from a pile of red beans here, the cloud eventually gets a way through. Maybe? It doesn't have to be all 3 of these colors, it can be like 3 beans of any kind, and that would work. So the idea is it could be like a red, red, blue. And this bucket will very slowly pick up reds, get it transferred out, pick up another red, get it transferred out. And then the blue will become a bucket that the cloud will then shoot across. That turns this into something. That's so many beans though, that's a lot of beans I need. I need like 3 here, some number of beans here. I mean really, it could be anything. Actually, I don't need the second bucket. I think once the bean puts down a bean here, the cloud will try to shoot it, but it won't pick it up again if it was against the wall, I think. It will bounce back, grab a second bean, put it down, because the cloud here shoots. Yeah, and I kind of like that. But that requires 3 beans here, 3 beans here, a bucket moving, 2 clouds, something here. That's already like 10 beans required. Yeah, that's definitely not going to work, I don't think. Okay. And then that doesn't tell me exactly how to do this. In fact, I know how to do this either. Actually, yeah, how would I do this? I mean, I could make a 3 cloud chain. Shoot, shoot, shoot. But that's not a very good idea, obviously. There is a thing here. I'm expecting that means that a bucket can't be oscillating back and forth, maybe? Water there, yeah, bucket can't oscillate back and forth. If it could, I could just set it moving back and forth and walk through at the right time, but no. Okay, that could be the purpose of that. Do you cheese? I wonder if it's also useful for pushing things horizontally. I don't think so. It seems like I definitely want a cloud chain of some kind. 1, 2, 3. I need 3 steps to start from here. If I stood from here, the cloud chain is gonna have to be 3 steps as well. So in either case, it feels like the cloud chain has to be exactly 3 steps to get something here. I do have rollers. I wonder how rollers are going to help us here. Besides just being things that are shot at by clouds. I guess they can block vision. But I couldn't use it at the end here because yeah. There's no way I can set a timer up. It would be possible. It would be very interesting. So like... Not sure. Rollers block vision, yeah. Bucket stone, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm thinking unfortunately this won't work. Oh no, world is a roller going to help us here. Yeah, it's too little. I could add a cloud to slow it down, but I'm not sure having this many clouds is beneficial for us. I would like to do this in as few clouds as possible, but given the 3 cloud chain that we need to have happen, yeah, I just don't think I can do this without 3 clouds. There must be another way though. 3 clouds is so wasteful. But yeah, if I stood anywhere here, it takes 3 clouds to shoot here, I think. Pretty sure there's no way out of that. If I stood anywhere behind this line, it takes 3 steps to walk here, so I need a 3 cloud chain. So yeah, that's why I am guessing a minimum of 3 clouds is necessary. Unless there's a way to manipulate like a roller or a bucket to sort of move around. I don't know, like here I can't do anything with a roller. Again, bucket can't oscillate. I'm wondering if I can... Yeah, I wonder if like the way this will work is... I can use a roller to sort of unblock a cloud's vision. Well, I can only do it here, in which case I still need 3 steps. Doing it anywhere here doesn't seem possible. There's no roller that can see me in a useful way. But that's interesting. Like if I stood, I mean, yeah, it could still be that the roller does this and allows me to make a 3-step chain using only 2 clouds or something like that. That seems unlikely. That does seem very unlikely. A bucket won't help in blocking vision. So yeah, it has to be a roller, but I don't see any way this would work. Okay. And like this just also doesn't answer this question down here. I don't know how this is going to work. I feel like these feel like 2 separate puzzles. I'm not sure how this level is going to connect them. I suppose the clear way that they're going to connect them is by saying that however many resources you use to complete this, you need to use the remaining resources here. In which case, then, like, I suppose it might be more interesting to answer this question first. Try and figure out how many resources I really need for this. Because as of yet, I still haven't figured out how to do this, like, with any number of beans I have. I have no idea how to do this. How do I set a timer that is at least 16 turns long? Has to be moving a... I'm fairly certain it's the oscillation of a bucket. But that's so many beans. Is there a way to make it better? Like maybe using a roller? The problem is the roller can't move because I'm not attracting it in any way. I could, you know, stand here and have the roller move towards me, thereby starting a process. But the problem is that if I stood here, the roller can really... Well, if there is something standing here permanently, this gate will be unlocked. A roller could see me from down here and roll down, thereby starting a process here. If then a cloud here shoots this, or if it went the other way around, where a roller here moving starts a process that travels here and then shoots downwards. That might be interesting. But no, I don't see how that's going to work. Okay, well, a way I can see it working is a cloud. I'm just going to use the beans here to like represent them. Will fire at an unnecessary recipe like so. A bean removes the red recipe, allowing the cloud to fire at this, turning it into a bucket and then shooting across it. This has to work because any singular one bean here shoots into something that I don't like. Bucket gets shot across, roller blocks vision permanently, and cloud just shoots again. So it has to start with two beans, bucket removes one, turning you into a bucket, and then the cloud shoots through, which maybe activates another cloud. Interestingly, I put a cloud here, which shoots at this. I don't hate that idea. Timing-wise, I feel like this would spend a lot more time. Okay, perhaps it were here, roller is here, and a bucket is moving back and forth behind the roller. So... don't do that, don't put that down. Like that. Yeah, and then the idea is once I stand in here, if I can actually make it in... This is so few steps though. I don't like how few steps this is. How do I lengthen this number of steps? If I put I'm gonna get this bucket to not be here first. If I put more beans down, I don't know if I don't have a single bucket can get rid of them all. I'm gonna need a third. Yeah, I don't think this works. As much as I like this idea, it's far too fast for me to use it. It's far too fast. How do I lengthen this? How do I lengthen this? Could I lengthen it? Not sure. And like, I suppose this might force me to, you know, use this card to activate something here as well. Not quite sure how to do that. Because I don't know how I'm gonna do that either. Okay. Sure. I don't suppose there's any other way in besides for a cloud to shoot at this thing, right? I can't do a roller in. A bucket going in immediately goes away, which could be useful if I could get the bucket to stay for long enough. Which it can't because it has to oscillate. And then I have to get those blocking objects to move away, which they can't. So yeah, it can't be a bucket that stands here, or that is pushed in this direction. So I'm fairly certain it has to be a cloud shooting at this. Well, okay, let's see if I can set this up properly. I wonder if something like this would work. Oh, that's too many beans. Nope. Okay. So we have a bucket like this. I'm gonna shoot the cloud. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna put the rest of my beans down here for safekeeping. Cloud, bucket, move, 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 move. Is this enough time? This is not enough time at all. No, not even close. Not even close. Wow, okay. I could also change it so that instead it's more than one bean and there's a second cloud here to dispose of the bean that's currently being carried. Don't like that, but that's fine by me. Okay, put the rest of the beans down. Okay, so. Actually, in that case, this bucket can be really anywhere. This bucket can start all the way at the top, and it should, because that gives you the most time. Bucket, you start here. Cloud, you are here. Oh, put the beans there. Okay. So the idea is that I shove. Oh, I didn't shove, but you get the idea. Yeah, so then the idea is to do this, and then this will get us enough time. Then the idea is that... Oh, I messed up the parity. Okay. Well. I messed up the parity really bad. I'm gonna have to remove a bean here. I wonder if this still works. Don't think it does. Oh, this clearly doesn't. Okay. Bucket, you're going back. Let's try this. I need to shove you first, obviously. So yeah, that gets shot down, and then that something like that. You see. Obviously, I don't know how to make this timer run another 16 turns, but that at least gets half the job done. Can I use this to continue? I mean, I really should have been carrying these beans along with me. This is so many resources for like... Ugh. The timing barely works there, by the way, which is kind of surprising, because this doesn't feel effective at all, and it seems to barely work. So how can I use the beans to help me? I'm not sure. It seems that at this point the only thing that will be pressing this button is the bucket. Yeah, I don't know what to do. If I just kept playing this out, like, you just get the buckets moving back and forth. That's not very useful at all. And if there were a cloud anywhere to get that red bean out of that bucket, it's going to be bad. That's just going to turn into a roller. That's it. How does that help me? No idea. Is that a good setup? Am I missing something? It's pretty expensive. That's what I will say. Because there are like quite a lot of moving parts. In fact, it's like... Well, there's one moving part. There's a lot of extra components to that machine. The timing just doesn't work. Because I need a blockage. Actually, it could just be two... Well, yeah, it could be two red beans. So it could be a red and a blue, yeah. And then the bucket gets rid of the red. We already discovered that this was way too little time. Way too little time. If I put an extra bean there, then we know things get very expensive. Because not only do we need to clear out the bucket at least once using another cloud, right? Otherwise, yeah. So timing wise, it just doesn't really work out. Maybe it could be a roller that starts it. Yeah, so the idea is that it will be a roller that blocks a cloud. So a roller could be, for example, here. A bucket that moves, and a roller that blocks the way. Again, this is very expensive, but we'll see if we can do anything about it. So we'll put a roller bean here. I'll put the rest of my beans down so I don't get shot. Yeah, we know. Okay. So here, what happens is that the roller rolls away, which allows the bucket to walk through and activate that. That's slightly cheaper. I think I like that. Because now I have an extra cloud to work with. How is that going to help us? Well, the roller's position doesn't have to be there. It could be like here. Well, no, it can't because I need to attract it. Yes, it's gonna end up here. It could be higher. I think the timing works out if it were higher as well. It's fine. It's not very useful. I feel like this is the best I can do. At this point, we're kind of expecting there to be something shooting here. The roller can't really do anything anymore, so unfortunately it doesn't really work. I'm trying to figure out if I can, reuse this machine that I currently have to set up a timer here. I'm not sure quite what I want. I see a bucket here that could be pushed back and forth. That's interesting. Now, could that bucket be useful? Well, I say that whatever this bucket has, this bucket would have already touched it beforehand, right? Not necessarily, but probably, yeah. This bucket would have touched it. So how is a timer like this going to work? I don't think it is. Yeah. I'm wondering if I can set up a timer that, works on like this being cloud or something. Not quite sure. There's another idea about like parity, I think. Oh, not parity, like lowest common multiples that I could try to exploit, but probably won't go well. It's the idea that if you have two oscillating movements that are slightly offset, they'll only align once every, few turns. That number of turns being the lowest common multiple between the distances in the two oscillations. I can't use that here, can I? Because in what way could I, get the alignment of the oscillations to be useful? Why would I want two oscillating buckets to align with each other? That's not gonna get anything to work. So that might not be what I want. I suppose it could be a very long back and forth with a... No, it couldn't. Because you need so many beans to work that out. It could be a very long back and forth with the bucket. I don't think so though. And also like that's not really going to work because the bucket will just put the bean in one place all the time. Sorry, I'm kind of thinking in my own like setup right now. You obviously can't see it, so I'm not doing a very good job describing my thought process to you. Is there any way else besides a cloud shooting here? Is there any way else besides a cloud shooting here? I feel like we've already decided no. Is there any way else besides the cloud shooting here? I also think no. Because like this bend is so restricted. Like even if this were open and I could stand on this, can't be a bucket being pushed in, I don't think. Can't be a roller being rolled in, obviously, because I can't attract it. So it probably has to be a cloud shooting something here, right? That's the only other way to put something on. Yeah, which brings us back to the massive question of how in the world am I gonna get a 16 turn long timer? I really want to think about this again. Okay, so let's say I tried to do the funny thing with the bucket. So we have a cloud here, we have a cloud here. That's not a cloud. Cloud here. And this cloud will dispose of some things. I feel like if a third cloud were here, that might be interesting, because then we have a system of ways to shoot through things, and like, okay, I kind of like that idea, but we'll think about it. So like this for example, might work quite well actually for a long timer. The idea is that this bucket slowly removes beans from there one by one. And after a certain amount of turns, you get a bucket which the cloud can shoot across. I am maybe thinking that, could I have that set up? No. No way. Look, I can start off with a few less beans here, right? So really, there only needs to be 2 beans here. I'm using different colors because it looks more convenient for me. I can count the number of beans more clearly that way if I use different colors. So kind of like this, I guess. And then you have a roller here. And then something like this. I don't really like this because yeah, look at what's going on here. This definitely won't work. There's not enough time for anything to happen. But I was thinking a good idea might have been that when I push down a bucket like this, you get this bucket to do that, and now that happens. So now I can slowly remove beans. Oh. Well, I don't really like that. You don't really get a very nice... Yeah, wow, okay. That's horrible. Okay, Yeah, haven't got it. I feel like this is somewhat close to the answer. There might not need to be this third cloud, really. But the 2 buckets interacting with each other is a bit of a pain. Yeah, but I'm kind of thinking that if I had just these 2 clouds, that might also suffice for this machine. Obviously, the way I'm doing this, it doesn't really work. So I need to find some other way to do it. But you kind of get the idea. So like... Yeah, so instead of one of these, I'll have like... Oh, it doesn't really work, right? Buckets pick up white the last, I think. So here you'll pick up blue first. Yeah, that's not good. The reason why red is best here is because you'll pick up red first, which leaves a bucket's recipe in the way. That's a kind of, yeah. Okay. I feel like for being a 2-bean puzzle, the solution really can't be that complicated. Like the way I'm thinking about it, right? I feel like I'm kind of generating a very complicated sequence here. That even by the standards of this island can't be the solution to a 2-bean puzzle. There must be something super obvious that I'm missing. Some very easy way to generate a long timer, or some other way to put a monster onto a button that doesn't involve a timer. But I don't know what that is. I can't answer either of those questions. How in the world are you going to... Yeah. Long timer... How? It needs to be 16-second long starting from this location. That's what bothers me so much. 17 from this location. What kind of timer can you even set that starts here, probably with a roller rolling, with a roller rolling that sets off a bucket that moves for 17 turns, I think? That feels like the only way to do it. I really have no idea. It'd be really clean if I could have a roller roll down and allow a cloud to shoot through, I guess. That'd be interesting, but that is clearly not possible. Oh, okay. Long timer. Are we still working on that? Are we still trying to go for a long timer? Like, if I stood here or here activating a timer, what could activate said timer? It could be... I mean, it has to be a roller, right? There's no other way I can interact here. I could shoot something, yeah. But what can I shoot that would work? If I shot a bucket, how would I generate momentum onto it without another bucket already moving in the same axis? If there was a second bucket moving in the same axis, I'm pretty sure that works out. So like, if I had a roller start a machine while I'm standing here or here, it would have to be a roller from this position, which feels more likely, or a roller from here, which feels less likely. And kind of the reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, while we get here, a cloud needs to shoot directly through here. So there can't really be a roller in the way. If there was a roller here, what would that roller block, such that moving it starts a machine? No idea. So it kind of feels like it has to be a roller here. In particular, it probably has to be the second row. So like when I'm standing here, actually, the roller will roll towards me already. If I had the roller in bean form, interestingly, well, it wouldn't block anything. Yeah, it wouldn't block anything, would it? There are other ways this could work out. Like, let me try and find a setup where this is useful. So, let's say I have a setup looking like this. I'm gonna put you in the corner because I feel like that's a little nicer. So the idea is that, yeah, this bucket does cool stuff. Actually, hold on, look at this. I think this setup here, I think it should be, it makes a lot more sense if I showed you the entire setup here. One set of beans here, one set of beans here, cloud here, and then a bucket trying to put something back and forth here. I mean, obviously there's something wrong with this. Oh. Hello? Put the bean down. There you go. So like the idea is that... wait a minute. Wait a minute, this is a transfer system. There's no oscillation here, is there? If I put these three beans here, I put a bucket going through, the bucket completely transfers one set of beans from one side to the other. Yeah, there's no oscillation. Oh, that's not what I expected. It has to be one empty and one not empty, I think. Something like this. Oh, okay. So if that's how that works, could I use that? It's a transfer system if there's no walls. If there are walls, then it's no longer a transfer system. If there's no walls behind this guy, then it becomes less of a transfer system and more like a... It's an oscillation for this top guy over here. No, it's still a transfer. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. It's still a transfer system of sorts. I mean, not necessarily if the three beans were already here. Then it really becomes an oscillation system here. And a transport system from down here. Yeah, then it oscillates it because when it goes up with the bean and it comes back down, the cloud shoots it again, and then it basically puts the bean back where it got it from. So it is an oscillation if there was no wall. So like if I had this cloud be in this row, which seems like a good idea, then yeah, that's an oscillation. But I don't want an oscillation. I want a transfer from that position, right? Like more specifically. I'm struggling to even like try and enunciate my thought process here. What am I missing? What am I missing? I like that if there were, in fact, if there were two sets of clouds that weren't against walls, you kind of get a legitimate oscillator. Like this. Yeah, there's a legit oscillator. No. Completely useless. But the thing I like about this is that you can actually break this oscillator by doing this. That breaks it. Which I feel like is quite interesting. Not sure how to use it exactly. Okay, I mean that doesn't help me. Yeah, you kind of get this very weird play here. Kind of useless. I'm using too many beans in this setup. Yeah, that's not right. What do I do? Is that the only way that things can work here? If clouds already exist, yeah, that's the only way things can work. Like, if a cloud already existed here and I wanted it to wait for some time before shooting here, fairly certain that's the only way it can work. It needs to be blocked by a unshootable recipe or an unspawnable recipe. And then it needs a bean removed from it such that it becomes a bucket. Because there needs to be two beans here at the very least. And then there needs to be a bean removed from it, at which point this becomes a real monster. And the only monster that would legitimately work here... Well, a cloud would also work. The cloud would work actually identically because after you shoot again. It's the same, which actually works even better because a cloud is the last bean that a bucket will ever take. So in a contest between red and white, the bucket takes red away first, which works. So you get this cool thing. I mean, it's dangerous for the... It's dangerous for this area. It's also dangerous for whatever this guy's carrying. But realistically, it works identically to a bucket. Which is great, because I can now move a bucket over to be standing here instead. But the idea is the same. It needs to be two beans here, one removed, then a cloud shoots, and then that causes a chain that sets up here. Right? Right? I don't know. If it were here, I had a roller here that rolled into me, which allowed a bucket to move away. The idea would look like this. 3, I have roller and cloud here. You can't see whether there's a roller bean and a cloud bean there. There is a bucket moving up. Has to be up specifically. I'll put the roller here for purposes of demonstration. The idea is that at the right time, say after the bounce, oh, it could be there as well for some reason. Wait, yeah, this actually works to bounce the bucket. It wouldn't work for the bomb, I think. The bomb would just walk right forward. Or the explosion would occur. Actually, if the explosion occurs, that would make more sense. But yeah, I always thought that here the bucket would just keep moving forward. But no, okay. So yeah, then the idea is that upon doing so, the bucket moves back and forth, and then that causes this chain to occur. That looks very good. Not sure how the timing works out. I can try and count. When I roll, the roll has to occur when I step here. Because it is at this point where line of sight will be achieved. When I step here, it rolls forward, you bounce off. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 turns. Okay, you have bounced off on the turn that I stand here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you bounce. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You remove, you shoot twice, and that's 4. Well, no, you bounce. That's 14. Oh yeah, I need to count this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You shoot at 15, you shoot at 16. So 16 turns here. Okay, and I think that could happen is actually even better. A roller could roll in. And then this could happen. But no, because the roller rolling would block line of sight. It's a good setup, but yeah, it blocks line of sight, so this doesn't work. It's very unfortunate it doesn't work. It's super close, but I believe this setup would lengthen the timer just long enough for me to actually make it. Because it lengthens your stride, it shortens the distance that I have to stand here. But no, it doesn't work. Okay. How much shorter can I make this, really? How much shorter can I really make this? Not sure how much shorter. I can always add a bean in front of it to extend the timer, but given that it takes 16 turns to shoot here at this current state, I need 2 extensions. So I need 2 beans in front of you, which clearly won't work. Really stuck here, actually. Gosh. And then I still need to juggle all of that with trying to get something here. I assume that the solution for this will eventually reveal itself once I discover a singular solution to this. Because right now, I can't even find a solution to this that would work. I have no idea how this. Yeah, I don't know. Over here. It rolls when I stand here, and then the bounce rate occurs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did my math right. I'm fairly certain this is forced. I really like it though. It's such a nice, simple setup compared to the other things I've been doing. If I did that, before finding any tweaks that might make this work, is that compatible with this setup here? Can I use this back and forth bean to do anything? The back and forth bucket to do anything? I think the answer is also yes. In fact, it could be 2 rollers that block the line of sight for bucket. I wonder how that's gonna work. I don't know if I can set things up right. Here you go, I can make you a roller already. You definitely won't see me anytime soon. Yeah, okay, this is interesting. Now I have literally nothing. To put on the buttons, so you know, there'll be some issue there, definitely. It doesn't even work. Well, yeah, it doesn't even work because it will shoot here. Timing wise, this sucks as well. And also, I'm out of beans. This clearly isn't what they want me to do. Come on. This clearly is not even close. What's a simple way? I don't see it. I just don't see it. What's a simple way to work this out? It could be... I would say it could be a bucket that's already hovering a bean that does the trick, but I don't think so. The only thing that would do is add beans to a pile. And if I wanted to do that, it's either going to make a recipe unspawnable, or it's going to add a bean to nothing, which a cloud could have shot through anyway. Yeah, a bucket harboring a bean is not going to clear any lines of sight whatsoever. If that's what I want. I'm just spouting a lot of gibberish right now. Is that what I want? To break line of sight at the right time? It has to be. I suppose the other thing I could do is break line of sight in a different way. So if I had an unspawned cloud here, I could break line of sight horizontally. Is that good? Breaking line of sight horizontally instead? Potentially. I don't know how that will work. Because, like, there's no oscillation available unless we block. Yeah, try to block line of sight horizontally is worse somehow. I don't see it. I'm gonna have to end the episode here. I think my brain's kind of fried. Not sure how early I should be asking for a hint. If this is a 2-bean puzzle that I can't solve, I'm kind of just really scared for the rest of the puzzles at this point. I'm saying that I'm saying that having just solved the 3-bean, that 3-bean puzzle on my left here is clearly an exception to the difficulty of the puzzles. It's only a 3-bean because it's the hardest solution of the two out of the two solutions that exist there. Again, no idea what I'm saying, but you get me, hopefully. No, I am so reluctant to give up right now. This must be something simpler than I'm thinking it is. This must be. What am I missing? There's really nothing I can do here, right? I can't set a machine any later than like here at the very most, but even then, there's nothing I can do here. There's no lines of sight I can activate or whatever. Can't push anything. I can't spawn monsters here. This is the furthest I can go while still being able to do stuff to the outside. Then I have to just walk. I'm seeing that from this setup, I feel like the puzzle is asking me to squeeze every possible turn out. So rather than being a machine that's 16 turns long at least, I feel like I'm being tasked to create a machine that's exactly 16 turns long. Just because that's the maximum number of turns I'll have at the end of that machine. That's pretty meta. That might not be right. I need to block line of sight to a cloud in some way, then have that cloud shoot. But how? I don't know. Is there any sort of funny oscillation between clouds? Is there an oscillation between clouds that will allow me to, at some point, generate a line of sight? Kind of seems difficult considering maybe like if a cloud was moving back and forth. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's yeah, I'm going back to this oscillation pattern. Just I don't know why. I just am. So let's say I have a bucket that's holding on to a bucket bean. Don't shoot. Okay. I presume now you can start shooting. Sure, that's not gonna do anything. It is gonna bring the red bean. Ah, if you bring the red bean out, I'm dead. Yep. If you bring the blue bean out instead, there might still be some chances. But once again, whoa, that's not gonna work. Oh. Once again, I don't know what this is all about. Like, yeah, this kind of does stuff. Ugh. What is that? I don't know what that is. Horrible. Like, let's say I had a roller here to block the way. How about that, huh? I'm just gonna put down the rest of my beans here. Yeah, yeah, you kind of get the idea, I think. That happens, I will attract the bean down at like, I don't know about this time, nope, this time. It's gonna do some really cool stuff. It's not actually gonna do anything useful. And it's eventually after some number of turns. This number of turns could actually be quite big. It's actually not really quite big, like... If it were here, for example, where I tracked it, you could get a bounce back at the right time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 7 like that. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. Okay. So this is a machine that will last for at least 18 turns. Which is great, except... Well, it actually works pretty well, considering everything. So kind of if I had like the roller be here instead. Kind of. Yeah, well now how in the world am I going to have this work out? It's really interesting though. This kind of works quite well, I will say. No, I have to wait until I think now. So the bean goes here, yeah. So now this will give me the correct number of turns, I would assume. Okay, so something that actually works for now, just by like completely overloading a cloud with buckets. How is that going to help us? Well, I guess the interesting thing is, if this cloud were further away... I have 2 rollers at my disposal. These all have to be blue beans, by the way, because... Well, those 2 rollers have to be here and here. Those are the only 2 places the rollers can be. And now I have I have this thing that I can't avoid. Even by blocking. Is there a way to like have you move to set things up? I thought the answer is no. Although if it were a cloud, or if there were a cloud there, that kind of just doesn't work at all. I'm wondering if like, if you could also block line of sight between this and a cloud. But that's ridiculous, because that means you'd have to be like here. The other cloud would have to be here, which just completely doesn't work. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, this isn't gonna do anything. I think it's time to throw in the towel and say that I probably can't solve this. Probably. Yeah, I'll work on this next time. Until then, though, we can enjoy the video. See you guys next time. Bye bye.